At this time then, without further ado, I'd like to call forward Rotarian Bill Bragg, who is the moderator for the debate. And if you'd come forward, Bill. And one thing, on your table there is paper to write questions that you may have later on in the debate. If you would write those questions down, Don Brown will come around and pick them up. Thank you. Bill.
Thank you, Kathy. Probably some of you are wondering why a liberal educator and a closet rock and roller would be picked to moderate this affair this afternoon. Well, I've been a law and order person for a long time. Just wanted people to know that. Actually, the real reason is that they wanted to pick someone who would not be intimidated, and they figured since I could do the chicken dance for 2 days, that I would not find imposing having to moderate a debate between two candidates for the county sheriff's position. So at this time, I would like to bring up our two candidates. First, we have Laurie Smith. And Laurie is the Assistant Chief in charge of Civil Courts, Warrants, and Fugitives, and she has her bachelor's from the in Administration of Justice from San Jose State University and a master's in Management from Cal Poly University in Pomona. And she's also attended the FBI National Academy. So let's please welcome Laurie. And our second candidate is Ruben Diaz. And Ruben is also Assistant Sheriff with the Santa Clara County Office of Sheriff, and he has managed the Technical Services and Field Enforcement Bureaus. He has a Master's of Public Administration degree, a Bachelor of Science degree, and also has attended the FBI National Academy. So let's please welcome Ruben. So I would like to explain the format that we're going to follow today. Each of our candidates will have an opening comment of 3 minutes. Then we will proceed to a questioning period. I have 5 or 6 questions that I will be asking. They will have an opportunity to respond within 2 minutes to each of those questions. We will alternate who answers first. And then if we do have some time, we will be accepting some questions from our audience, and we'll ask that at the conclusion of my questions. Then we will have a final 3-minute closing comment from each of our candidates. So we'd like to start. We did have a little coin flip, so we did this official, and Laurie Smith is going to be starting out. So we'd like to start now with a 3-minute opening from Laurie Smith. Laurie?
Great, thank you very much. And I'd like to thank Rotary of Cupertino for having us here today, and the Cupertino, television station that's done a big setup here. When I was working patrol in the past, I remember seeing kids in trouble with gangs, kids in trouble with guns. And now that I have 25 years on the sheriff's office and am a manager, I understand really how important management is. Law enforcement is not just crime suppression, it's also crime prevention, and that's very, very important. We're on the verge right now of a teen population boom. By the year 2005, the number of kids will increase by 34%. I think we need to focus on our kids and make sure that we keep them safe, that we keep them as free from violence and crime as possible. As your sheriff, I'll work to keep kids away from gangs, keep kids away from guns, keep kids out of off drugs, and keep kids out of school. I have 25 years with the department. I've worked virtually every division in the department, and I bring a combination of experience and ability to get the job done. In my time with the Sheriff's Office, I have implemented and innovated many, many positive programs which range from the Auto Theft Task Force to the Sheriff's Community Police Academy, many things that are focused on our community. I believe that it's important that we combine our community with the law enforcement and focus collectively on the solutions. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Laurie. Ruben?
You said there was going to be a timer. What?
Yeah, we have a timer right here,
okay.
Eleanor Watanabe, and she will be flashing both yellow and red. So when
Just
you see the
wanna make
red,
sure.
you know you have to stop, even if it is mid-sentence. We expect you to stop.
Okay.
No, actually, I'm kidding. You can finish the thought.
Thank you very much. Thank you for allowing us to participate in this forum. I am Ruben Diaz. I am the Assistant Sheriff, Santa Clara County. I've been here for 8 years. I've had 19 years of city police work and 8 years as the Assistant Sheriff. 28 years of police work. I started when I was 20. I've been married for 28 years to the same lady, by the way. She always wants me to make sure I say that. 28 years and with 3 children, Ruben Jr., Rachel, and Renee, and I have a 6-month-old granddaughter, which I can't wait till this thing's over so I can enjoy her and play with her. To me, it's important to have a balanced life. If you have a balanced life, then you can do the job with no problem. 28 years of marriage has also provided me 28 years of solid police work. Going through the ranks, background in law enforcement with diverse views, diverse social economic classes, and various jobs that I've done throughout my career. In addition to that, it's 28 years of community service. I have worked with kids since I was 16 years old, ensuring that they stay off the streets, to ensure they stay in school and out of gangs. When I was 16 years old, I took on several 10 and 12-year-old boys that were already in gangs, that were already possessing guns. It's nothing new to me. Lately, in the last 10 years, I started working with seniors to ensure that they also have the safety that they want, to ensure that they have the availability of law enforcement in their lives. And I enjoy that. Every Monday I serve close to 300 to 400 seniors at the Italian Gardens. And then on Fridays I enjoy dancing with the seniors at the North Side. This is what Ruben Diaz is all about. A full-time resident in Santa Clara County, one that has worked very hard to ensure that the community is foremost and that the youth has the availability of someone that's going to guide them out of problems, but also to try to resolve and provide them solutions for their future. Law enforcement is in a trend, a major trend that's going to have a lot of changes in the next few years. Budgets are going to be tight. And I think that Cupertino understands that. Right now we're enjoying a good economic, but in 5 years, the new executives of law enforcement must be prepared for the tightness that's going to come about with our budgets. I am that person. I have diverse background in administrative services, and I will bring that as the next sheriff of this county. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to proceed with the questions, and again, each candidate will have 2 minutes to respond to each question, and you will be getting a warning 30 seconds left into that. And the first question we're going to ask Ruben to respond to first. What do you see as the important law enforcement issues facing Cupertino and its surrounding communities during the coming year?
Gang problems. We must start addressing that issue so that we can prevent it. I have worked very diligently on gangs in San Jose with the Mayor's Gang Task Force. With that brings graffiti and other problems. We want to ensure that we maintain the good living that we've had here in Cupertino. You want to make sure that we identify something first and prevent it before it gets here. That's why it's really important that we identify the gang issue now. I have proven myself that I can do it. I've done it. I've done it in the large community of San Jose. In addition to that, the high-tech crime. The future crime is going to be fraud. There's no two ways about it. I have the support and the resources available to me to address that issue with all the support that I have of presidents and CEOs of high-tech industry in this valley. To me, those are the 2 major issues we must address. And the third one, of course, that is in the forefront, that I'm very proud that I worked on it, is domestic violence. That issue we must eliminate. And hopefully in the future, we can have no domestic violence. But that's something like, that we want to work towards. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm afraid we sound a bit alike in our issues that we talk about. The things that I feel are important pretty much countywide. In this area of the county, we don't have the gang problems that we perhaps have in the southern end of the county, but it's not that it's non-existent. It's something that we need to work on and really work and identify our kids that are at risk. One thing that I feel is real important is family violence, whether it's domestic violence, child abuse, or elder abuse. One of the greatest predictors of juvenile delinquency is a history of violence in the family. In Santa Clara County, the last statistics that I saw, 38% of the arrests that we made for domestic violence resulted in criminal charges. That means 62% of the people were not prosecuted. One thing that I want to focus on is developing a unit that can respond to domestic violence issues, that can couple law enforcement professionals with medical people to make sure that we know what happened there at the time of the incident and that we handle it as capably as we can, dedicating the time that we need to these very important crimes. It's estimated that there are 90,000 domestic violence injuries in Santa Clara County alone each year, and I look at that as being important to our kids. Gang and graffiti certainly is important, but something that the new statistics that I'm seeing on drug use, the increased use of drugs by our kids is astounding. That's not only as a result of the increased use of marijuana, but it also, we're seeing younger kids who are now using heroin. We need to focus our attention on that and keep kids off drugs, find out what works and what doesn't work.
Thank you. Let me ask a follow-up to that, and if you could select, you both mentioned several issues, if you could select just one issue and talk more in terms of the types of programs or policies that you would want to implement to deal with that specific issue. And Laurie, we're going to start with you.
I think because I've talked already about family violence and a program that I would like to begin as far as domestic violence, I think I'll focus on gangs right now and intervention with kids. So this also takes in drugs to a certain degree. There's a program that's being used in Los Angeles County. It's called the Juvenile Impact Program, and basically what it does is it identifies kids early, at-risk kids who are in jeopardy of becoming more involved in crimes, and it allows for law enforcement intervention coupled with parental intervention, community involvement, and it's a program that's a referral by the court. That's been very successful where it's been used. I think we really need to target the kids who are at risk, intervene early so that we can prevent future occurrences. And these are the kids who are involved in maybe their first crime, maybe a very minor crime, but make sure that they see that the importance of not continuing that direction, and see if we can rescue these kids out before they become immersed in a real life of crime.
Thank you. Ruben?
I've worked on several programs already. I don't believe in reinventing the wheel, and I don't believe in bringing programs from outside the area that really haven't been proven. The San Jose Mayor's Gang Task Force has been proven to be an effective program. The removal of tattoos from children, and I say children because they're only about 13, 14 years of age. The assistance of guiding young women to become parents, to identify to the youngsters and hold the parents accountable for the kids' activities and the gang activities. Those are the programs that we need to bring into Cupertino collectively. Come together with the church, the community groups, law enforcement, and identify how we're going to address the kids to ensure that there's no more gangs or the prevention of gangs in this community. We hear the stories about the Asian gangs. Gangs have no boundaries. There'll be all sorts of gangs come into this area if we don't identify a solution early on. And one of the solutions is, first of all, bringing the community together, bringing a committee, a group, to include schools, and like I said, the churches and everyone else, and then start targeting specific groups in the community. One of the things that I can't understand why and what the community does is shy away from a confrontation or front to front with gang members. These are young kids that are looking for guidance. I've worked with 400 of them every year in the Santa Teresa Police and Fire Academy. All they want is guidance, love, and attention. That's all they want. And if you provide it for them, you'll eliminate that problem. And I've done it before for many years.
Thank you. The next question, and we'll start with Ruben on this, and it's a bit more of a follow-up on the same. Zero tolerance gangs and drug and alcohol abuse have all been ongoing concerns as they relate to the schools. So again, what ideas do you have to address both prevention and enforcement that go beyond what is currently being done, specifically as it relates to school-age children?
Well, I touched on some of that already, but let me just reemphasize the fact that we need to bring the parents and not only just bring them in, but hold them accountable. I think we also have a problem in society, and that is we don't want to offend people. But sometimes you do have to get their attention and say, hey, if you don't want to address your kids' problems, then you're going to pay for it. And if you're going to pay for it, then we're going to get professionals to address the issue. That's something that we're going to have to do in society today. We can no longer allow law enforcement to babysit and to correct the ill wills of the families not paying attention to the kids. But by the same token, then there's prevention. And the prevention part comes with these teachers coming together, like I said, with the churches, with the community, and identifying solutions, various programs. I have a program in mind and working with a TV station where we're going to address 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds. A lot of you I can see out there were brought up with Captain Kangaroo. I mean, you're not all that young. Some of you knew Captain Kangaroo. That's the type of positive programs we need on Saturday mornings. But this time with law enforcement officials, professionals that can talk to the kids in the manner that they understand. I've already spoken to a TV station that is willing to do that locally and to partner up and to identify the causes of gangs and drug problems in the schools early on. Believe me, these 4- and 5-year-old kids today understand much, much more than we give them credit. Thank you.
Here, Laurie?
Could you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Yes. Zero tolerance gangs, drug and alcohol abuse have all been ongoing concerns as they relate to schools. What ideas do you have to address both the prevention and enforcement that go beyond what is currently being done, again, with school-age children?
Right. I think it's really important that our teachers are aware and work very closely with law enforcement. I think that's really how we couple here. In the city of Cupertino, we have 2 school resource officers that are there for the kids. It's a different relationship that they're developing now than in the past. The officer is there for them to help them solve problems and to actually be in tune with what's going on. Again, I think that crime suppression is very important. It's very important that we take firm and swift action against those violators. I firmly believe that, but I also believe that we need to go a little bit further, and we need to see if we can, like I mentioned earlier, rescue these kids before they become immersed in a life of crime. I think the zero tolerance is excellent, and I think it's excellent not only for the kids but for adults who are involved with drug activity in and around the schools. And taking a real firm stance on that and having everyone understand what the expectations are, the school-age kids, knowing what zero tolerance means and what the consequences of their action will be. That coupled with a good prevention program, I think can make a difference. Right now, weapon offenses for kids has doubled for the age group 10 to 17 in the last decade. Those are things that are big concerns, and I think that we have to go back again and look at the family unit as being important and understand that violence in the family is a big indicator of future delinquency problems.
Thank you, Laurie. Okay, the next question, we'll start with Laurie on this. What do you see as law enforcement's role in responding to the changing demographics within our community? Specifically, what do you feel are the key elements that should be included in any strategy designed to positively enhance multiculturalism?
I think it's very important for our officers that are out there to understand the differences in the cultures. We need to attract and hire more officers who reflect a variety of backgrounds, and in particular speaks different languages, to be able to bring back to the department that particular culture and talk about it. Cupertino is a very diverse city, and right now, when you look at the services that we provide to Cupertino, there was recently a survey, and our satisfaction rating is one of the highest of all city services. Our officers are out there interacting with the community now and really providing excellent services for the community of Cupertino. It's very important that we bring these elements in. I think that we need to not only couple what we do out there, but also bring the community into the Sheriff's Office, make them an integral part of what it is that we do. The Sheriff's Community Police Academy is an example that we began several years ago that brings the community in. We show them what it is that we do, how we do it, and that's taught by our officers who really enjoy talking to people who are interested in what it is that they do. That's very important.
Great, thank you. Ruben?
The sheriff of this county should be the sheriff for all the people. The sheriff should be able to go to any section of this community and actively recruit. I have recruited in this county, in every segment of this community, and we've brought people in to reflect the community that we serve. There is a tremendous demographic change going about in Cupertino. We have not done the job because we couldn't. We couldn't hire people in 11 years. We are now finally, after 11 years, enjoying recruiting various individuals from different segments of the community. But we need your help. We need the help of the community to recruit and to encourage these individuals to join police work. See, there's a problem and a misconception. Law enforcement is not what it used to be in the eyes of a lot of the young individuals. It's not a career anymore. It's just a stopgap while they're going on to another job. There's a lot of cultures now that don't look at law enforcement or hold it in the high esteem as we do here in our society. We need to break those barriers. And I'm speaking from experience because I've been out there actively recruiting. 8 months ago or 9 months ago, I recruited the first Vietnamese officer to the department. We got him through the academy, and now he's in the field training program. He's already having doubts. We've hired some Asian Americans, Chinese Americans, Japanese Americans. They also have that doubt. We need to work on sensitizing the department. We need to have more inclusive and not exclusion. That's what the department's going to be all about in the future, and that's what this community is going to be about too, working together as a team.
Thank you. Okay, the next question, we're going to start with Ruben. And given the size, the complexity, and the diversity found throughout Santa Clara County, how can a single sheriff adequately address all the needs? What are your ideas on organizing your department to provide greater efficiency and effectiveness in serving the constituents of this county?
Okay, I covered some of that already by the active recruitment that I've done, but I want to go a step further. One of the things that we've lacked in the past has been the inclusion part. One of the things I plan to set up is an advisory board, which is going to reflect the community we serve. That's where you're going to get the input from the community, the actual problems that are going on. We need that. We need to hear from the constituents out there that there's disrespect for this culture, there's a problem in this other area, and need to identify how to correct these problems. In addition to that, we need to include all the department into some training. We had a cultural awareness training not too long ago where everyone was ordered to attend. Unfortunately, some people refused to attend. That will change in the future. If we're going to serve a community of diversity, we must have everyone in the department on the same page, and that is to be sensitive and be aware of the cultural awareness that we enjoy in this county, so that we can live better and happy. We can share each other's cultures, and to make sure that we're aware of what upsets us and what doesn't, and how not to step on one another and injure other people just by saying something that is not proper. We will have that type of training in the department in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Laurie?
May I hear the question again? I'm sorry.
Yes. Given the size, the complexity, and the diversity found throughout Santa Clara County, how can a single sheriff adequately address all the needs? What are your ideas on organizing your department to provide greater efficiency and effectiveness in serving the constituents of this county?
It is a large county, but I think the answer to that question is the sheriff has to provide the strength of leadership necessary to lead the department and to provide the direction for the department and how we want to operate. The sheriff doesn't do it all him or herself. It's the leadership role and the organization that works for them. I think it's real important that the sheriff have the support not only of the management within the department, but also the support and trust of the rank and file. I've recently received the endorsement from the Deputy Sheriff's Association, and I have almost all of management also who are supporting me within the department. I think if you couple that with leadership skills, strength, understanding of the community, you're able to bridge that gap and understand the differences between perhaps Los Altos Hills and unincorporated Gilroy, their particular needs, their specific problems, and make sure that the organization works cohesively to address the particular issues and the problems throughout Santa Clara County. And I don't think it's just the problems. I think it's also to make sure that we also work on the good parts within the county and within the community, so that we're there with them through problems and through strengths that our individual communities have.
Okay, thank you. Let me follow up specifically dealing with leadership. Last week we had Phil Tronstein from the Mercury News here who addressed Rotary, and he identified leadership as a major issue in the sheriff's race this year. What type of leadership do you feel is needed in the sheriff's department, and what skills and attributes do you have that could meet those needs? And we're going to start with Laurie on this one.
Leadership is something that's very, very difficult to define, and I'm not sure anyone really has a clear definition of what it is and how it actually should work, but we all understand the concept. The one thing that I'm proposing within the department is to develop more of a participative management style. We recently had some difficulties in one of the divisions within our department, and it was management versus union and some real problems. I had seen something at other police departments that worked, that actually brought together all levels and all segments of the organization into a collaborative decision-making on policy issues, where decisions on policy issues were made by consensus. We have implemented that participative management system in our records division now. It's been fully bought into by our union and by management, and it's something that I want to continue. Where I've seen this used, it's been very, very important in building trust and confidence within management, and I think that's really where we are lacking, is in the trust of management, in the leadership that we have. And I'm looking forward to this program being something that's very effective in our department, and it allows these decisions to be made by a group, by consensus. And these are the policy type issues. These are not personnel matters or budget matters necessarily, but everyone needs to be able to participate in these kinds of decisions, and I think that even better decision making is reached through this process.
Thank you, Laurie. Ruben?
Leadership to me means you must be an example before you ask your troops to do something. If we're going to work with the community, your leader has to first be part of the community to do it. I want to show you something that I'm very proud of. This is an article that was done by Lee Weimer, who I have the utmost respect for. This is all about Ruben Diaz opening the doors for everyone in the community, dancing with the seniors, providing guidance. You have to be full-time in this community to do that. You can't live part-time. And the troops must see your commitment to the community. Then they will follow. There's 548 people in that department, plus another 825 in the Department of Corrections. They're waiting for a leader to provide them the guidance and how to do it. You can't ask people to do something that you're not willing to do because they're not going to do it. You must provide that example. I'm very proud of this, and this demonstrates who Ruben Diaz is all about and what he's all about. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to go to some questions now that have been generated by our group of esteemed colleagues out here. And the first is really, I think we're all aware of the article that was in the paper this morning. And so we've had several questions that would like that to be addressed, specifically the fact that contributions were made from owners of a particular business within the county. But I'd like to frame the question a little broader, since, so both of you can respond to it. And that is, how do you reconcile the political nature of the sheriff's position with the need to enforce all laws free of the influence of special interests? And I think we're starting with Ruben on this one. Yes.
Well, let me address the $1,000, the major issue, I guess, today in the Mercury that people want to talk about. Very simple. I've raised $250,000 in this county. It's a county, big county. That shows the support that I have countywide. I am not beholden to anyone in this county. $500 is the maximum anyone can give you. The average contribution that I have received in this last 10 months has been on the average of $150. I don't think that's going to buy any type of behold to anyone. That was an oversight. Nothing illegal about it. The family bum are contributors and taxpayers to this county like everyone else. The unfortunate part is that there's a perception that card club money is wrong. That's why it was no problem. You move on, you return that money, and that's it. If people want to make an issue of it, so be it. That's their problem. I continue to focus on the issues. I continue to march forward for a better sheriff in this county, to enhance the department, and to eliminate any problems of any perception of being tied to any special interest group. Elected officials throughout this county have always said they're not taking any money from developers. That's the same thing. You don't take any money from any special interest group. And when you do, you return it. It's as simple as that. But like I said, anyone that has ran a countywide race will know and understand that you can't keep an eye on every check. You rely on volunteers. And then you have to be the person responsible for that campaign. And I am, and that's the actions we're taking, returning. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruben. Laurie?
I think it's very important that as a leader in law enforcement that you're very careful about where contributions come from. I personally review every contribution and am aware of where it comes from. I have turned down money in the campaign, and that's sometimes a very difficult thing to do, but I believe in honesty and integrity, and I don't want to get into something where there could conceivably be a conflict of interest or taking money from someone that law enforcement is often enforcing crimes against. I don't think the amount of money that you raise is indicative of your level of support. I received the most votes in the primary and actually raised about a third the money of my opponent. And I think that I was very effective in getting my message out. I really watched my money. I would rather have less money and make sure that where my money source came from was, number one, accurately reported on the state forms, and number two, came from interests that would not be detrimental to being the top law enforcement officer of Santa Clara County.
Thank you. I think we have time for 2 more questions. And we're going to start with Laurie on this one, if I'm keeping track of our little ping pong going on here. Cupertino contracts with the county for its law enforcement support. Do you support this arrangement, or would you rather see the city have its own police department?
Absolutely, I support the system. Cupertino is a wonderful city. I think that we have an excellent relationship both with the city council, the members of the community, and the sheriff's office. We provide excellent service. Based on the City of Cupertino survey, showed that the quality of service is excellent here. We also provide very cost-effective service. It's generally thought that on a statewide level that contracting with a sheriff's office costs about 2/3 of what having your own police department would be for. I fully support the idea of contracting, and I think it's also important that we keep up our level of service to make sure that this is a contract we maintain. We have quality individuals in the sheriff's office, and I attribute a lot of that to, or I attribute that to the level of service we provide and the very positive ratings that we got from the city's survey when they looked at all city services. So I think it's excellent, and I would like to keep Cupertino as a contract.
Thank you, Ruben.
Of course, we would want to maintain that team effort. The City of Cupertino and the Sheriff's Department has enjoyed a partnership for many years. You have good, outstanding leaders here in this community, and we want to maintain that relationship. I came from a city this size. As a commander, I negotiated contracts. When I came here, I was able to negotiate the contract with the Sheriff's Department and Cupertino, and you pay a lot less than a city, a little smaller than this city. So that means that you have good, efficient managers enjoying the benefit of the Sheriff's Office. And by the same token, the Sheriff's Office enjoys working for you as the citizens of this community. It is a good teamwork. We provide good service, and we want to continue to work that for many, many years to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I have one final question, and I would like to remind the candidates that they are addressing the Rotarians, the Cupertino Rotarians, and please keep that in mind as you consider your response to this question. You or one of your sheriffs stops an allegedly speeding car. You discover that the driver is none other than Kathy Nellis, the current president of the Cupertino Rotary. Do you, A, commend her for her efficient use of time, give her 2 tickets to the policeman's ball, and send her on her way with a smile, or B, impound her car, haul her off to jail, and require 4 non-Rotarians to vouch for her credibility before releasing her?
I refuse to answer on the grounds it may
You're very smart.
incriminate me.
So I won't have you answer that. I don't want to prejudice anybody in this room right now. I'd like to thank you for your responses. The final part of this little debate is for each of you to have a closing statement. We're going to limit that to 3 minutes, and we're going to start with Ruben.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank you, Rotarians, for allowing us to come here today and listening to us. I know it's very difficult after a lunch to listen to speeches. I've been there. I've sat on that other side, so I appreciate you staying awake and listening to us. One of the things that I take pride in is that in all my career, I have submitted proposals to anticipate the future of law enforcement. 5-year projection plans, 10-year projection plans. That's not new to me. I was really astonished that in the Sheriff's Office we had not done that before. That will change. I have done a 5-year projection plan for the Sheriff's Office. This will be the map of the Sheriff's Office when I'm elected sheriff. We will address these issues, the issues that I've addressed already before you. It's important to provide a map for the department. A plan is necessary if you want to get from point A to point B. Without a plan, you're just moving along, going in different directions. I pride myself as a manager, 15 years as an executive manager in law enforcement. I've lived here for 28 years, and I will maintain to live here. I've enjoyed it. I enjoy Santa Clara County. It's important, and I will provide the availability of the Sheriff's Office to all of you when elected. I am proud to work for the Sheriff's Office. It's a good department. You have a lot of good people working there. There needs to be some changes to adjust to the future, and I plan to do that. It's in my plan. Thank you very much again. I've enjoyed being here today.
Thank you, Ruben. Laurie?
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank Rotary of Cupertino. Now, I'm a Rotary member in San Jose, and I don't think I can attend my meeting on Friday. Does this count as a makeup? I want to talk a little bit about the changes that I believe I can make in the Sheriff's Office. I believe that strength of leadership is important and that we work with all segments of the department. I mentioned earlier that I had the endorsement of the Deputy Sheriff's Association, and in that endorsement vote, they sent out about 400 ballots received about 200 back. My opponent received 16 votes. I look at that as having the overwhelming support of the department. I mentioned management earlier also. I have the support of almost all of management within the organization. And also the correctional officers. That's an issue that needs to be resolved within the department. And having the law enforcement endorsements and the trust and confidence of the management, I think I can make the changes that are necessary. I have many, many other law enforcement organizations endorsing me, almost all major law enforcement organizations in the county and many statewide organizations also. I also have the support and endorsement of many fire departments and county parks. I'm real proud in Cupertino, too, that I have the unanimous endorsement by the City Council. I have the endorsement of all 5 candidates, and I think that's very important. They've seen what I've done in the past. They understand my performance. They understand really what I can do for the future in the organization. I have opened my personnel files to the media in the past. I think it's very important that now that we're entering a public realm, that we look at who the person is and the past performance. I recently issued a challenge to my opponent to remove the shroud of mystery from his personnel files, and he refused. I think that that's important. I want people to understand what they're getting, who they are, and why you should vote for me. I can make a difference in Santa Clara County. I'm dedicated to working very hard to move the direction that we want to collectively, and that's community and our organization, to make sure that Santa Clara County continues the quality of life that it has, and perhaps enhancing the quality of life. We enjoy very good crime rates in Santa Clara County, and I think that that's a product of many things, but one of the factors certainly is the quality of law enforcement and the ability for all law enforcement organizations within Santa Clara County to work together collectively to solve problems, to prevent crimes, and to make sure that we continue what we have here in this valley. Thanks very much.
Thank you. And well, on behalf of Rotary, I'd like to thank you both for coming this afternoon and sharing your ideas. It's very important that we're all informed on the issues and we exercise our vote in November. And again, thank you, Rotarians, for your rapt attention.